Plus-size clothing designer Nell Tipton became a game changer in the fashion industry after winning the reality show competition Project Runway in 2015. Her clever, vibrant, and fierce creations on the catwalk left a lasting impression with the judges.
It was groundbreaking. I finally put plus-size women on the map. I finally allowed them to be seen in the fashion world.
Born and raised in San Diego, Ashley has been sewing since age 7. And when she couldn't find stylish clothes as a teenager, she created them herself, inspired by the colorful, bold designs of her Mexican-American heritage. Ashley's season 14 Project Runway win led to a plus-size fashion line with JCPenney and her own apparel, jewelry, and eyewear lines. Her rise to the top has been anything but easy. Bullied as a child, Ashley has struggled with her weight, self-esteem, and depression. In 2017, she shared with the world her decision to undergo gastric bypass surgery, losing 150 pounds and gaining a new sense of self. Pivoting during the pandemic, Ashley designed and donated more than 50,000 masks to frontline workers. With hundreds of thousands of followers on social media, these days Ashley is using her power as an influencer to promote self-love to young women and girls, and in September of 2020 launched her new Love You show on YouTube.
Teaching you the foundations of self-acceptance.
Okay, so this is such a colorful, vibrant, fun studio. This is a perfect workspace for you.
It is a perfect work, living space. I get to create all hours of the day.
And it really all began with your grandma, didn't it? She inspired you to sew.
She did. Like as a little girl, she taught me how to sew by hand, and then gradually started teaching me how to use the sewing machine and just being crafty all the time.
When did you know that, hey, I'm pretty good at this?
I think it was putting myself to the test, and that was creating my own collection and using my friends in high school to be my model and to be put in such a crunch time. And with the knowledge that I knew from what my grandmother taught me, I had no high school or, no college knowledge of how to really sew. So I think being able to see how patient I was and how willing and how much drive I had to finish something that I loved.
Well, you must have had a lot of confidence because all of that talent led you to Project Runway. How did that happen?
Years of not knowing if I could do it or if I should do it. I had applied for multiple other reality TV shows that had to do with designing, and I remember receiving the email for Project Runway, and I was like, this is the second time I'm being approached to apply for it. I think I should do it. I mean, I've started out my business. I just lost my grandmother. I don't know if I want to continue designing or not, or if I want to just go back into retail and just kind of go into the regular retail job. And I kind of just felt like this is my last chance. Like if this doesn't work, if I don't make it on the show, then I'm gonna go to my plan B. And I just thought, let's just try it out and see what happens. And I had the help of my family and friends to help me apply, put an audition tape. There's so much preparation that goes into putting yourself out there as a designer and letting these producers see who you are at your best and your most vulnerable spot. And doing the whole audition process, coming out of it, I didn't think I was gonna make it on the show. I was like, I don't think I'm what they want as a TV personality. I just want to create and I just want to be seen.
It worked out pretty darn well for you.
Right? It did.
Ashley, that means you are the winner of Project Runway Season 14. Yay!
A winning Season 14. So many people following you. A first of designing for women who are not your typical 6'5", 120-pound models.
Exactly.
And that really garnered a lot of attention, didn't it?
It did, in so many different ways. I felt like it really just shook everything up, and it kind of made people stop and think, why not? Why can't we be on the runway? Why can't we be sitting in the stands watching plus size women that we can relate to on the runway? I just always found it so bizarre as a young kid that I wasn't seeing myself being represented on TV or in fashion magazines or anything like that.
What was the response to people? What kind of word did you get on the street once you were known in that capacity?
It was groundbreaking. I finally put plus size women on the map. I finally allowed them to be seen in the fashion world. Project Runway has now allowed plus size models to be in the competition as well. And that, I think, in itself is huge for Project Runway. I knew being accepted onto the show that I had a mission, and it was to be an advocate, be a representation for all these women that never had it, and letting them know it's okay to be fat. It's okay to want to be fashionable and stylish, and that we should take those opportunities to love ourselves and do that for ourselves, because it makes us feel good. And just going on the show and seeing how much people really needed that.
You know, you watch the show and you are smiling and you are confident and you look so happy and you won.
Yes.
But later you said you weren't happy.
Yeah.
That you weren't confident and that you had to make a change.
Oh, you're gonna make me cry already. Yes, because like I said earlier, I never saw that representation, and I felt like I was taking everything that I had in myself to bring what it is that I wanted to see. Even though I didn't feel 100% confident, I know that I had to do it for not just myself. I had to do it for all the other women or men or whoever never felt accepted, to finally feel like that I'm fighting for us. I'm fighting for us to finally be heard that it's okay to be different. It's okay to be unique, and that we have to love ourselves.
And that was something that you really kind of fought through for a lot of your life, right? You were bullied.
Yeah.
You were bullied for most of your life. And here you were on this stage with the power to really change the perception of plus size women and to impact women who were feeling badly about themselves like you were.
Yeah, I feel like we all want to be a part of this fashion world, and we feel like this fashion world is a very cookie cutter world, and why not break that sealed and allow there to be more creativity and uniqueness in this fashion world? Like, it's big enough for all of us to be here and for all of us to have an opinion and a style, and it just makes us even more creative. Like, I love seeing regular size and plus size designers collaborating together or working together. It's just, it's beautiful to see. And I will say this, I feel like I played a big part in it.
You certainly did. And there's so much to excitement around that. I guess the high point is you see the impact that you've made. The low point was that big jerk, Tim Gunn, who really dissed you in the end after you won, saying that he didn't like the clothing and that he thought that you were a token winner because you were honing in on plus size women, which had never been done before, and the judges caved. I mean, that must have been so insulting.
Yeah, a part of that was the deep depression that I went into, because at that time and the way that I was thinking was, Tim Gunn was a mentor that I held very highly in my mind. And after coming off of Project Runway, I realized that the idea that I had built of Tim Gunn wasn't what I thought it was.
He was a bully.
Whatever you call it. I just felt like he didn't really understand what a woman wanted and how we wanted to feel. And as many times as he told me that he thought I was dressing for an older woman or it was just too modest, I don't think he understand that plus size women were tired of other people thinking for us, and we finally just wanted options. We just wanted options to be able to create what we want, our vision, what we want to look like. And I'm just glad that I've been able to move past all of that, because I really allowed what he said to settle in and really eat my confidence up. And I had to basically get myself out of that and build my confidence back up and tell myself I did deserve to win Project Runway, and that this one person's opinion doesn't mean anything to me.
You had so many more options after you won, and we're going to get back to the depression in just a minute, but you had all these wonderful, lucrative deals with various apparel companies,
Yes.
right? Tell us about the wonderful things that happened from this show.
I mean, there's just endless of opportunities that have happened from being on Project Runway that I never thought would ever come to present itself. I mean, being able to work with JCPenney, who is a well-known company that's been around for many, many years, forever, right? I mean, my mom was shopping there when she was younger, and it's kind of like a dream come true, like being able to walk in a department store where I was a young girl running around in the racks and seeing my name
And your clothing.
and my clothes. It was unbelievable. And just to be able to have that opportunity, that's why I took that, because I wanted to reach so many women all around United States. I didn't want to be online. I didn't want to just be in one store. I wanted to have my reach everywhere, and I wanted to be affordable as well.
During the pandemic, you have been very busy creating masks.
Yes.
And not just your everyday mask. These are masks with powerful messages about women.
Yes. I think more than anything, this is the time that we should allow our voices to be heard, even if it, cracks up or anything like that. We're just showing how powerful we are and what we're capable of doing, and not underestimating us, and just taking back that ownership.
In September of 2020, you, like a lot of other people, pivoted, and you put a stop for a bit to designing and putting your focus on clothing, and instead you decided to make a change in yourself and work on yourself, and also to start a show.
Yes.
A show on YouTube. Tell us about that.
This show has been a dream of mine and my partner in this business. We really wanted to be able to help people rethink the way they think about themselves, the way they think about life, the things that they do. It all came from the way that I was living my life, and I was letting my own mind stop myself from doing things that I wanted to do. And I was blaming other people or other things of why I wasn't where I wanted to be. And after my manager, Andrew, my partner, really explained how our minds are this computer program, and that from birth we've been programmed to think a certain way, and because we've been taught to think a certain way, we do things a certain way, and we expect the same results, but we don't get them. And so it's really just reprogramming yourself to do things differently.
So Love You
Yes.
is the name of the YouTube show, and basically you're promoting self-acceptance, right?
Yes, it all starts with us accepting ourselves, loving ourselves, taking care of ourselves. If we can't do that to ourselves, we can't give ourselves to anybody else.
So you're a product of reality television. You grew up watching, glued to social media. Social media right now is a problem for a lot of people. It's the reason behind depression and feeling not good enough and that sort of thing. Did you fall into that trap? And how are you changing that with your social media platform?
I definitely fell into that trap. I feel like right after I got out of Project Runway or got off of Project Runway. And I think that's where this world of influencers and social media became a full-time job for people. You know, you were hearing bloggers quitting their full-time jobs to full-time be a social media and influencer. When I got off of Project Runway, I had no clue what an influencer was. I was thrown into this field of being an influencer, and I'm like, no, I'm a designer. And they're like, no, you're an influencer. You're famous. You're on social media, this and that. So just seeing all of that really scared me, and I had so much anxiety, and all I could think about was how people perceived me on a social network that I had no control over because I wasn't able to meet them in person.
On your show, self-love, self-acceptance, self-care, you talk about some very personal things. You talk about your depression. You talk about breakups with a boyfriend. You talk about gastric bypass surgery and how you were hesitant to do it because you were worried about what people would think about that. I mean, you're really putting yourself out there.
Yeah, I am. I feel like I'm pretty much an open book, and I really don't think about it twice because I'm not afraid of people's opinions anymore. I feel like once you own it, you speak from the heart.
And how did you come to that place?
I mean, my business partner, Andrew, really helped me think things through and not really worry about what other people think because that's their own opinion. It doesn't make you more or less. You are enough. Like just knowing that I am enough when I wake up every morning and not allowing my mind to be full of things that I can't control or that I can't change someone's mind. Just being able to learn these little steps of changing the way that I think has helped the amount of depression I have, my anxiety, my relationships with people, my relationship with my body, my mind, food, working out. It's changed my whole lifestyle to make me happy again.
You look fantastic.
Thank you.
You tell us about what you did to change into this healthier version of yourself.
It all started by knowing that I loved myself, that nothing was wrong with me, and knowing that if there was anything that I wanted to do to change my lifestyle, that it was okay. And so I started working out, and I was not seeing the progress that I really wanted. And so I went to doctors, had blood work done, and I found out that I had a really low metabolism, and that was going to make my journey even tough to lose weight. So I decided to seek help, and gastric bypass is one of the most extreme weight loss surgeries that you can have. It eliminates so many things out of your life, and I really felt like I had an addiction to food and that I needed to take whatever steps I needed to understand my relationship with food and how food is there to fuel you, not to feed your emotions. And so really changing my mind about that and just speaking to a therapist and finding help, talking to people who've had this surgery before, and just really getting myself prepared to change my lifestyle and the way that I look at things.
And by tackling the weight issue, which had been an issue for you your whole life, and did that resolve the depression a little bit? And was it all interconnected, or is that a whole different thing?
It made me unpeel the depression one peel at a time, because I didn't realize that there were so many things underneath that I had to deal with. I had to deal with being okay with looking at my body changing every day, seeing body parts not looking the same like it did before, seeing stretch marks, hearing people's comments about how good you look when all you ever wanted was for people to accept you. And now that you finally did something to make them happy, it messes with you. So there was a lot of things. It was like a double-edged sword for me to talk about it, to even have it, to even talk about losing weight in this community. So I think the depression even hit more, that it was fighting against me. Like I was trying to do something for myself, but I was also having this community of people who supported me backlash for something that I wanted for myself. And I just kept saying, like, it's my body, it's my health, this is my life. And I would try to ignore all the comments, and then I saw how people really changed their attitude towards me, and I realized it's not me, it's them. And once I was able to really allow that to sit in, it didn't take, a snap or whatever. It took a while for me to continue to practice this thinking and just realizing it's not me, it's them. Like having your best friend tell me that what you did to your body is triggering for them. It's hard. And it's like you can't help but feel like you're doing something terrible to them. But at the end of the day, it's like you're not in my shoes. You're not in my body. You're not having to fly every week to another state to do work and then come back home and be in a 400-pound body and doing all this. I felt like I was in a fat suit, living the life I've always wanted to, but always having to wear this suit everywhere I went, and it was exhausting.
So now that the suit has been removed,
yes,
and the real Ashley is here, are you happier?
Oh my gosh, 1,000% happier. Like even going through a relationship and sharing it on social media, I don't regret any of that. I think if anything, it shows people that I'm a human and that I go through real life stuff that everybody else does. And I'm not ashamed of sharing it. It only just shows growth and where you could go if you just practice these things. It's hard, but the end result is so much better. Sorry.
Well, my next question was going to be, have you evolved or changed in the past few years? I guess ultimately, I'm curious about what you are hoping to accomplish by sharing your vulnerabilities in such a way.
I'm hoping to see this shift in this community, in the plus size community, in the LGBT community. I mean, all communities, for people just to change the way that they think and how we hold people's opinions in our lives. Because I think that's what makes our moves everywhere we go, is based off of what other people are going to think.
What would you say to those bullies who have tormented you in the past now?
How does it feel now to see me on TV? I don't know. Like, it feels good to see that I'm in such a better place, but I didn't do it for them.
Right.
I did it for myself. I did it to kind of prove that, like, I'm not what they said I was, and that all those times that I shut down and cried, it was okay, and that I'm so much more stronger than that.
So what are you most excited about right now?
I'm excited to get back to working after this pandemic. I mean, I've been nonstop, but now it's the time to really take from what I've learned from pivoting right now and putting it in this new creative world. So I'm designing a collection that's going to come out this fall with a company called Sansi. It's going to be my first collection since JCPenney's. And I'm also starting an OnlyFans for all ages.
Fantastic. That is so exciting. Grandma is smiling down at you right now.
Grandma is very proud of me for keeping this up and just staying consistent.
You are a delight. Thank you so much for talking to me.